And I'll start, please. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Honorable City Council members, Mayor, City Treasurer, to our Chief of Staff, our City Attorney, and to the administrative staff and guests that are in the audience, and also to those that may be viewing tonight's broadcast via our YouTube Live channel. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is March 13th, 2023. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out a request to speak public comment card located on the table in the back of the chambers and hand it to myself. Additionally, members of the public who are viewing tonight's meeting via our broadcast channel or YouTube Live can submit their comments to publiccomment@romulusgov.com. At this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Barton.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
And we know that Councilwoman Webb.
Yes, excused.
So noted. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Tonight's regular council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6, clerk's report. 7, treasurer's report. 8, public comment. 9, unfinished business. 10, new business. 11, warrant. 12, communication. And number 13, adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Agenda item 2A, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, March 6, 2023 at 7:30 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move for the approval of the council meetings of Monday, March 6th at 7:30.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the minutes from our regular meeting held on Monday, March 6th at 7:30 p.m. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Abstain.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you. Agenda item 2B, for approval are the minutes from the special meeting study session held on Monday, March 6, 2023 at 6:45 p.m. to discuss the quarterly investment report.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wadsworth?
I will move for the approval of the minutes of the special meeting that was held on March 6th at 6:45.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of minutes from my special meeting study session held on Monday, March 6th at 6:45 p.m., and that was to discuss our quarterly investment report. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Abstain.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That motion is approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. It takes us to number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Spring is next Monday with some good sunny weather. Go out and cut your grass and everything. At this time, I'm going to have the pleasure to recognize our Congressman Sri Kanadar to the podium for our congressman for our district.
Thank you, Chairman, and good evening to all of you. I am delighted to visit your great city, and I thank the mayor for giving me a wonderful tour for last almost an hour. I got to see the developments that are happening in your city, and I see a bright future for this city. There is so much economic development, that potential that you see. I'm a business person. You know, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started small businesses, created lots of jobs for most of my, to last 25, 30 years. I'm a scientist. I'm a chemist. I have a PhD in chemistry. So before all this politics, I was more of a scientist, more of a business person. And I see, the businesses thriving, the new developments coming, and I see, great potential for this city. And so I was so pleased to see. I understand there are issues. I see some of the roads that could be better, and I will make a case for that. I understand the airport. I serve on the Homeland Security committees in the United States Congress. So from that angle, you have Michigan's biggest airport, and I want to see what we can do from my committees to help the city explore and be a win-win between the city and the airport. That's what I would like to look at. I am a ranking member of a committee on transportation. So I'm looking at the entire TSA is under our committee's jurisdiction. So I would also look at those helping the TSA workers get a better work environment, better pay is something that I'm focused on in making their sacrifice, their hard work rewarded, that they should have benefits just like any other employee. They don't, currently their compensation is significantly lower. So my passion, the reason I left my businesses and decided to run into public office is because I'm passionate about helping people. I felt that I was fortunate to achieve my American dream, but American dream is not accessible to many people. Low-income people in the black and brown communities, and my passion is to bring entrepreneurship, bring the American access to American dream. So that's, I know you have long business to do, so I won't take much of your time, but I'm delighted. Please consider me as a friend of the city. Reach out to me. You have my cell numbers, and you know how to get hold of my office. My office is in downtown Detroit, which is only about 25 minutes from here. So that's where we service, we want to excel in constituent services. That's what I want to do. So that's, Mr. Chairman, thank you for giving me the time. It's just a great meeting all of you. And reach out to me if there's anything I can do.
To the chair.
Thank you.
Yes,
To the chair.
gentlemen, first of all, thank you for coming to the city of Romulus. It's always a pleasure to have elected official of your status to come see our concerns. And we're very appreciative that you came to see us. And I'm sure our council colleagues feel the same way. Ms. Talley?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again, Congressman, for coming out. I do have one question for you. I just want to ask you personally how you are adjusting to being a congressman.
I'm adjusting it well. It took a
Okay.
while for us to elect our speaker. It took 15 votes to do that. But other than that, we are in a minority, but I'm used to being in a minority and still getting things done. Okay. I served in the Michigan House as a state representative, so I was able to use that knowledge to in my congressional work. But I've made a lot of relationship. I've met a lot of Congress people, older, newer. I'm learning from others. And this is a great honor. You know, I was 24 years old, living in poverty in India, 24 years old, and I saw no future for me. And coming to the United States was the way I was able to lift my family out of poverty, get education, start businesses. So only in America, someone where I came from could be serving in the United States. And so I'm grateful to the people who chose me and trusted me, and I feel a great sense of responsibility to improve the lives of people. But I'm honored, and this is a privilege, and this is what I want to do the rest of my life, if I can.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Chairman, if I can be excused, I have to go on another meeting, but it was a wonderful meeting, all of you.
Okay. Again, thank you, Congressman.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, thank you. Good evening, City Council, Madam Treasurer, Madam Clerk, members of the audience here, and also those at home. I also want to thank Congressman Tanadar, and our state representative. We've been trying to give each one of these individuals a tour of the city to let them know what Romulus is. For so long, Lansing has had no concept of Romulus and its regional significance and the growth and development we have here, plus some of the hardships in the airport. A lot of times they don't even know that we don't receive a tax base from the airport. So, quick tour. We didn't take too much of his time, but appreciate them coming, taking us up on the invite to come around and see the developments in Romulus, the things we're doing to move this region forward, and also experience some of the hardships that we have and some of the different things that we take on here because of the airport and our hotel district. So. And I know he's a very busy man. We got a lot of busy things going on, so I'm very appreciative of coming out here and really taking time to learn who Romulus is. So I'm always going to take advantage of that. That being said, I'm going to direct your attention to the monitor here, where we have the always knowledgeable Vanessa with a quick video for you.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Tolliver, and here are some events happening in Romulus. Nominations for Hometown Heroes are being accepted. Nomination forms can be found on our website, or you can pick them up in the lobby at City Hall. The deadline to submit is April the 10th. On Thursday, March 16th, from 6 to 7:30, Best Practices Consulting Services is holding a seminar on how to write a business plan. Learn the key elements in a business plan that will help you start, maintain, and grow your business. Come out and play Family Feud at the Romulus VFW on Saturday, March 25th. The cost is $5 per person, and you can have a team of up to 6 players. Doors open at 6 p.m., and you must be 18 or older to play. The annual Community Easter Egg Hunt will take place on Saturday, April the 1st, beginning promptly at noon. Thanks, everyone, and remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube, or visit the website for more information. Have a great night.
Thank you, Vanessa. One other item of note before I get into the action items I'm going to report this evening. Just reporting back to council on the well issue that we're having. We saw the press release on it. I met with the CWW, County of Western Wayne, and all the leadership at that group, and they unanimously approved a motion to request Eagle to open the public comment portion of the license application. So the Eagle license for that site is due to expire this year. They had a public comment portion. That time was closed and lapsed with little or very little public knowledge of it. So we're petitioning them to reopen that, so we'll have a chance to comment on concerns that we have for that license. So CWW is more than happy, and they voted unanimously to support the city of Romulus here in our request and our petition to Eagle on that. So stay tuned. We'll continue to work and talk about that issue. First item I have up for action tonight is the reappointments to the Police, Fire, and Safety Commission. I would ask that council concur with the administration and reappoint Mark Wilhide, Cynthia Harris, Debbie Latner to the Police, Fire, and Safety Commission with terms to expire on February 22nd, 2026.
Through the chair,
Yes, Ms. Talley.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration and for the reappointment of Mark Wilhide, Cynthia Harris and Debbie Latner to the Police, Fire, and Safety Commission with terms to expire on February 22nd, 2026.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Williams, for reappointment to the Police, Fire, and Safety Commission. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have is for Cemetery Board and Trustee reappointments and an appointment. I would ask for the council to concur with the administration and reappoint Linda Choate and Sheldon Chandler with terms to expire November 1st, 2027, and appoint Gail Mock with the term to expire November 1st, 2024 to the Cemetery Board of Trustees.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wadsworth?
if I may, I'm going to move that the city council concurs with the reappointment of Linda Chokes and Sheldon Chandler to a term that expires in November 1st of 2027, and appoint Gail Mack, whose term will expire in November 1st of 2024.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Williams, for Cemetery Board Trustees reappointments and appointments. Any discussion?
Yeah, through the chair, quick
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Mayor or Julie, her application says 7/6/2022. Just a clarifying point on the process. So do we keep their applications on file for a certain length of time, and then if there's a vacancy, then we go to that file? How long, is it expiration on there?
I don't think there's really an expiration
No
on that date,
expiration.
but if the date looks like it's a little less than recent, we're going to make a call to them and make sure that they're still interested in it.
Okay, okay.
But we try to keep them on file as long as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have up is the Brant Street reconstruction, the Oak Brook subdivision. I would ask the council concur with the administration and award ITB 22-23-16 for the reconstruction of concrete pavement segments on Brant Street to the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder, Great Lakes Contracting Solutions, in the amount of $924,857.50 with a 10% contingency in the amount of $92,485.75 to cover any costs unforeseen during construction related changes.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion
Okay, Ms. Roscoe?
for ITB 22/23-16, Brant Street Reconstruction, PH2, CDBG funds for Oak Brook subdivision.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for ITB 22/23-16 Brant Street reconstruction, PH2, CDBG funds, Oak Brooks subdivision. Any discussion?
Yeah, through the, me too.
Ms. Abdo, and then Ms. Talley?
I just wondered if we have scheduled an appointment with the, not an appointment, scheduled a meeting with the Brant Street residents as to what dynamics we're going to use on Brant Street.
Yeah, good evening. We haven't scheduled a resident meeting yet. We want to get this approval done tonight, then we'll start to get the contract books to the contractor, and we really want him on board to be at that meeting, so
Good
if
idea.
there's anything with like his operation, he could give us some insight on what he's planning on doing that would be different from the contract. But yes, the meeting will be forthcoming. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Ms.
Yeah.
Talley?
And really quick, Roberto, it looks like we estimate this project at 1.6 million, but it came in at 1,017. That's including the contingency. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the construction dollars we had at 1.3, we had a total of 1.6 that we thought it might be up to with all the services. That's everything. Any consultant services would be included in that. So just the construction, we had it. We thought it would come in at 1.3. So you can kind of see that the market and the contractor industry is kind of slowly recessing with inflation.
Okay, that's pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're thinking that's all inclusive, the 1,017,000,
Yeah.
that's including the contingency?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. I also want to thank council for the quick response on this issue right here, to get this in motion. Roberto and his team were curious about, or they wanted to get this out to bid fast because they thought the price, we beat it to market and be more competitive and get lower prices, and we're spot on with that. Thank you for supporting this project to get Roberto able to go to market, get bids, and come in. Hopefully, we're going to stay below budget, and we can use those dollars to do a little bit more work over there. So,
Yeah.
and that will conclude my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6, clerk's report. Good evening, council. I have 3 action items. 6A, second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 2223-12, Fire Department. It is requested that council approve the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 2223-12 in the amount of $164,575 to recognize federal funding and allocate additional funds for costs associated with the acceptance of the 2023 SAFER grant and the hiring of 6 additional firefighters position in accordance with the period performance for the grant beginning March 20th, 2023. This budget amendment was introduced at the March 6th regular council meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe?
I'll make that motion for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-12 for the Fire Department.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley. Second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-12, the Fire Department. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. 6B for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 2223-13, Building Department. It is requested that council approve the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 2223-13 in the amount of $150,000 to recognize additional fees for engineering reimbursements. This budget amendment was introduced at the March 6th regular council meeting.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration for the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-13 in the amount of $150,000 to recognize additional fees for engineer reimbursements.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Roscoe. Second reading, final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-13, Building Department. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you. The last action item is 6C, first reading and introduction to amendments to Chapter 26, Section 26.3 of the City Code of Ordinances. To capitalize on the mobile portable food truck market that has been increasing in southeastern Michigan, it is necessary to amend the city's current ordinance to make it easier and less expensive for a food truck or cart business to sell their products on designated city properties. It is requested that council approve the first reading and introduction to amendments to Chapter 26, Article 1, Section 26-3, Permanent Structure and Mobile Food Service of the City of Romulus Code of Ordinances.
Through the chair,
Yes, Mr. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion to approve the first reading and introduction to amendments to Chapter 26, Article 1, Section 26-3, Permanent Structure and Mobile Food Service of the City of Romulus Code of Ordinances, and I do have a question.
Support.
Support. It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for first reading and introduction to amendment to Chapter 26, Section 26.3 of the City Code of Ordinance. Discussion by Ms. Talley.
Yeah, quick question, Ms. Ellen. This license expiration, it was a one-year permit. Now we say expires on December 31st of the year issued.
Yes.
So if they come in August of that year, they only like have 3-4 months to utilize that permit?
Well, the permit, I mean, you're only going to have food trucks during the summer months, as a weather permit.
Okay.
So August, maybe they come in August and perhaps they want to participate in the pumpkin festival or
Yeah.
something. So, yeah, so each year, we want to make sure that those licenses are renewed because there are, required inspections and things. So this, at least we have structure, and, now we can have, food trucks and things.
No,
So-
it's good. I just thought the 1 year gave them more time. If they came in later in the year, they only have a few months to utilize that permit as opposed to a year. You know what I mean?
I don't know, Steve, you want to comment on that? I believe that's,
I think if when they're all ending at the same time at the end of the year,
Okay.
it's easier to track. them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Track, okay.
if every month we got somebody who might have their license expiring, we got to have a diary system for sure.
Yeah.
Track them to make sure we remind them, or they'll be out there still running their food cart, and then we'll have an
We have
expired
an
license.
expired permit. Okay. What is the cost for a permit for a food truck?
I believe that is something that we are still
Okay.
working on. This is kind of new.
Okay.
and But we know the spring, the warm weather is coming. and
Yeah.
People want to, with their food trucks. So right now, and it will be listed in the fee schedule when that
Okay.
comes out for
Okay.
the budget. We will have that, incorporated in the fee schedule. Right now, the important thing was getting our ordinance, passed by council, and then from there, we will
Okay.
build. So
No,
this is
just
kind of new.
clarifying
This is
questions.
new
I know.
for us, so we're trying to, build that up. But that particular fee, because we're still trying to assess
Yeah.
what the appropriate fees, because we want them to be able to make money, as well. We
Absolutely.
don't want it too expensive for, for them, where they can't afford to
No,
come
no.
because the fees are
Makes
too high.
sense.
But during the budget, when we present the fee schedule again, then we will have that amount listed.
Okay. No, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Ms. Talley. Ms. Williams?
Yes. Under number N, the time frame, it says from 11 to 5. I mean, I can understand nobody will go to 5, but, so 11 o'clock is the hour that they have to be done?
Yes. Between 11 PM and 5 PM? And that
Yes,
might,
Yeah.
that says that they won't be able to start earlier than 5 AM, and they
okay.
have to be finished by 11 PM.
oh, it looks backwards, that's all, okay, right. So
Because normally when it's the movies, what time is the movies normally over? Because there's a lot of food trucks there.
About,
I don't know if that would be a community special event. I don't think we've had the movies past 11.
yeah,
I
but
think
just,
one time
we don't
gone
want
past
the
that. It's
food
usually
trucks
over.
operating past 11 o'clock PM. That's the cutoff. They should be shutting down and cleaning up by 11. And then no earlier than 5 AM. So that's just the window of time that they should not be operating. So between 11 o'clock at night and 5 o'clock AM. So that's the window that they shouldn't be operating.
And this is just regular, but do you have something different for special events? That's what I'm saying.
Special events, I think that's something, and I apologize, I can't really
Yeah, that would
answer
be something we'd interpret to be different for a
Right,
community
yeah.
special event. Pumpkin fest, something like that going on, it's a community benefit,
Okay.
that'll be handled different. This is more for private, and
Okay.
you don't have Cinnabon running at the Speedway station at 11:05. Because I might have to run up there at 11:05 and get me a Cinnabon, so I want to close it out of here.
Okay, thank
Right.
you.
And to remember, council, special events have to come before you to approve. So, all of the details, particulars about if an event has a food truck or something, that they're going to include, then all of that information will be in the details in that petition that we present to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And before I close out my part of the agenda, I just have a quick announcement. The Romulus Memorial Cemetery Spring Cleanup. So that is going to begin April 1st, maybe a little bit earlier if the weather, allows, because Easter comes a little early this year. That spring cleanup is approaching fast, and so please note that items left on the grave sites that are not in compliance with the cemetery rules and regulations will be removed and discarded. Those prohibited items include holiday decorations, yard ornaments, wind chimes, lanterns, solar lights, and shepherd hooks. Items that individuals wish to keep should remove them as soon as possible before April 1st deadline. For a complete copy of the rules and regulations, individuals can stop by the clerk's office, or you can visit our city website at www.romulusgov.com. This announcement is also on our city Facebook page. It should be on our cable, so we've spread the word for everyone just to make sure. And again, just give us a call. They're going to work so that our memorial cemetery will look nice for the upcoming Easter holiday.
Oh, okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. That concludes my report. Takes us to number 8, public comment. I'm sorry.
Treasurer.
Number 7, the treasurer's report.
I thought, whoa, I got off
I'm sorry,
easy tonight. That's okay. Thank you. Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, administration, and listening audience. First, I'd like to know if I could, for those of you that know Miss Karen Richard, she recently passed away. And I would like to ask for a memorial resolution. I know that she worked in the district for 30-plus years. She's been retired for approximately 15. Everybody that knew Mrs. Richard loved Mrs. Richard. She built the best relationship with all of her students. She was very loving, caring, sweet, and one of the best educators ever. And she will be missed.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
If I can, I would like to make that resolution. Mrs. Bouchard or Mrs. Price, whichever one you know, she taught all of my kids when they were in kindergarten at Merriman and at Barth, and she was a very nice person, very nice person.
I'll support that.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo. Is that?
Yes.
For a memorial resolution. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes?
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
John, if I
Yes.
could ask the treasurer, has there been a service already, or?
No. And I'm keeping in touch, so that way, once we get those arrangements, I'll definitely share and let everybody know.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I have one more item. And I received an email today with one of the investment officers that I work with for city investments. And as you know, there's a lot going on in the news with Silicon Valley Bank and some other banks. And so once I read the email here, I thought it would be important to share with council and the public. And of course, as we move forward, I will be happy to update you. So please bear with me. As everyone should be aware, there have been a couple of bank failures over the past few days, and the sector as a whole is under a lot of pressure. Without going into too much detail, the banks in question all have relatively sound financial positions, but highly rated with all of the rating agencies. Indeed, this fact is the main reason that the government decided to bail out all depositors regardless if the deposit amount is over the FDIC insurance maximum of $250,000 or not. As far as we can tell, there is not a problem with bad loans or even bad investments. They're referring to the 08-09 timeframe. Rather, this is all the result of a classic run on individual banks and the complication with rising interest rates. Those of you who have taken my CPFIM class know that rising interest rates cause bond prices to fall, and we talk about this with the investment reporting. And interest rates have risen at the fastest and highest amount in over 50 years over the past 12 months. Banking institutions invest their excess deposits in the bond market, and therefore all banks are sitting on unrealized losses on their surplus. Again, we talk about that, held to maturity portfolio. Normally, this would not be a problem and the loss is not realized since regulations force banks to keep high levels of excess liquidity to handle increased withdrawals. But for various reasons, a number of banks have experienced withdrawals well above their liquidity levels, and they have been forced to sell their bond holdings at a loss. This resulted in more funds being withdrawn and therefore more withdrawals, and the spiral downward began. This should be used as a wake-up call to all of you that there is always risk in your exposure to the banking industry. Any amount over in a bank over $250,000 is not insured, and you should do everything you can to stay below that level. He's speaking to us, government. The easiest way of doing this is to have your cash swept out of the bank at the end of each day. All banks have sweep vehicles to accomplish this, which may include a money market fund, a local pool, or ICS insured accounts. There is no liquidity concern because the funds are placed back into your bank account the following morning. Once I received the email, I made a phone call just to kind of verify and go over and ask some questions that I had. There were others that reached out to him, and he sent another email. There have been a few comments regarding my earlier email regarding the state of the banking industry, and I want to clarify a few things. First, I want to reiterate that all banks have an option that would either place overnight funds into a diversified vehicle or add additional protection to the funds. Second, when I mention a money market fund is a viable option to have your funds swept into, I am referencing money market mutual funds and not bank overnight money market accounts. A money market mutual fund is fully diversified in investments away from the bank, and a money market account is not. Your banking representative should be able to help you with this distinction. On here, lastly, I do understand that you will likely have to give up yield in order to better protect your funds. So I reached out, I already know the answer, but I reached out to our relationship manager with our bank and asked the question, and yes, we do sweep the money into the account, and it's a market mutual fund that has underlying securities that are diversified and not part of the bank's balance sheet. And I also want to read this small part here. The bank's Fund J is a short-term money market fund designed exclusively for local governments. Fund J is in full compliance with PA 367 of 1982, PA 20 of 1943, as amended PA 451 of 1976, and PA 331 of 1966. The fund's objective is to offer a short-term investment vehicle for public entities that provides as high a current yield as is consistent with maintaining liquidity and stability of principal, and that complies with statutory requirements. So, I say all that to say I'm on it. We have the money where it should be, and if there's any more information, I will be happy to share it with you. And as always, you can call my office with any questions. And that is it with my report. Is there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, number 8, public comment. This is the portion of the agenda for those who are in the audience. To address City Council, the rules can be found on the back of your meeting agenda. If you would like to address the city council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note, members of the public who submit a public comment card will be called upon first. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. We do not have any written requests.
Any comments from the audience? If there's no comments from the audience, Madam Clerk, we'll close that part out.
All right. Takes us to number 9, unfinished business.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I was just, I'm constantly getting calls. Mayor, do we have any idea of when they'll start the construction on the Veteran Monument, that area?
I can get an update from Kathy Hood on that one. I think, Roberto, is there anything that you can add on that one yet? I know she's got the design, and they're ready to go out to bid on it.
Yeah, Kathy's been working on that. There is some kind of survey work that we need. We also need to figure out, there's been some movement between the signage up front and some other utilities that have been put in. So we got to get all the clearances for any utilities that have been placed in there so we can figure out where we can build a foundation. But yeah, Kathy is working on that. There is funding set aside to rebuild that. So as soon as we get everything cleared out and the weather breaks, I'm pretty sure we can start working on that.
So you have the design and everything ready to go once you...
It's specifically the design, I don't have any knowledge of where the design is at, but I know it's in the works.
They have the design.
Okay.
She's got she was ready to let bid on it before, when we had the idea about the Memorial Park coming. So they have the design, and it's ready to go. She's just got to make sure the site's ready and go ahead and let bid.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any more unfinished business? Takes us to new business. And, Mr. Chair, under new business, I do have, I'd like to make a resolution, if I may, under new business. And please forgive me, it was remiss of me, I missed it under my report. But during the mayor's report, you, council voted to appoint new trustees to our cemetery board. So, our dear beloved Jan Lemon has retired, and we know the work that she has done for our Romulus Memorial Cemetery, the years, the time that she's put in so that we can have a memorial cemetery that we can be proud of. So many projects, the gates, Victorian gates, the Veterans Monument, and just cleaning up the rules and regulations, and very, very committed. And so she's retiring, and so I'd like to ask council if you would adopt a resolution in appreciation for Jan Lemon's service in the community and all the work she did with the
So moved,
Romulus
Mr.
Memorial
Chairman.
Cemetery Board.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for a resolution for Ms. Jan Lemon. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you, council.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Please.
and I would also like to ask for a memorial resolution for Bishop Whitehead. He was the bishop for Saint City Church for over 40-something years, and so I got the news that he passed. I will, as soon as I get more information, I will make sure our clerk gets it, but I would definitely like the council to approve that memorial resolution.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Williams, supported by Ms. Abdo for a memorial resolution. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. It takes us to number 11, for approval is warrant 23-5.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 23-5 in the following amounts. General Fund, $154,215.05. Major Street Fund, $36,182.90. Local Street Fund, $8,424.79. Public Safety Fund, $34,334.67. Cable TV, $1,052.89. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $199.70. Michigan Indigent Defense Fund, $12,302. 911 Service Fund, $682.95. NARC Forfeiture State, $1,972.74. Library Fund, $15,584.72. DDA, $1,199.62. Tifa District 2, $2,235.23. 2014 Capital Improvement Bonds, $174.60. Water and Sewer Fund, $722,500.64. Motor Vehicle, $24,389.75. Technology Services, $2,974. Retiree Insurance Benefits, $168,438.44. Revolving Fund, $4,800. Current Tax, $14,155.74. Payroll Fund, $380,859.95. Totaling all funds, $1,586,680.38.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley,
John, I have a question.
okay, to pay warrant number 23-5 for $1,586,680.38. Discussion by Mr. Wadsworth.
If I could, and I guess I should go to the mayor, I'm looking on the first page, or page number 49, and it's the Bank of America credit card. We have one credit card that during the month of January spent $4,300. I looked in the basket, I couldn't find the detailed.
The details should be in there, but it's also, it's that time of year, again, we have firefighters and registration and training courses that are
Okay,
up,
that's
so similar to the building department, once the licenses expire.
It's
we
in the
have-
basket there? All right, fine.
Yep, and if you find that some information is still lacking, let me know and we'll get it to you.
All right, fine.
Ms. Williams had a question.
Yes. I have a question on page 49, and it's up under, look like check number 0012, the DTE bill. And it says the ambulance building, but I noticed for December and January, the same address is listed as the old animal shelter. You know, my concerns with this, Mayor, is that the taxpayers is continually paying the utilities for a business that have a contract that is obligated to pay them itself. Why are we still paying these bills?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear exactly what line item you're talking about. Can you repeat that?
It's up under the DTE, it's on page 49,
Okay.
and it says 35257 Goddard Road Ambulance Building.
What check number are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Check number, it looks like, well, it's up under 1204E, and I'm
DT Energy?
thinking everything is up under DTE.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I follow you. And what was the question again?
My concern is why are we continually paying, month after month, the bills for a business that has a contract that is obligated to pay them themselves? I mean, I can understand the taxes if that person couldn't pay the bills, pay the taxes, and the city didn't want to incur interest, but not the utilities. I mean, it's the water bill, it's the gas bill, it's the DTE bill.
Yes, sir. I believe this, I have to check the lease agreement on that one. I believe it's invoiced to us and then we're reimbursed.
That's
I
what-
can't say that 100%, but I believe that's the way it is, but I don't have the lease in front of me, but I can check and find out and make sure that we are following the terms and agreements of that lease.
Through the chair. That was brought up before. He brought that up before, and Mr. Kraus was here, and he said they pay on time, all the time, and they pay their utility bill. That exact same question.
Excuse me, that was not said. He said that he was moving forward, because I've checked, and there's outstanding bills that's owed. What Mr. Kraus said, because I spoke with him about it, he said he was changing the contract to make sure that each person or business person that is leasing a city building will be responsible, so they don't have to be invoiced out. That's what he said to
Okay.
me.
And like I said, I can double check this to make sure that the requirements at least are being followed, and we'll make sure we're doing that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If there's no further discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 12 is communication.
Yeah, through the chair.
Yes, Ms.
Just a couple
Talley.
Quick thank you. Through a couple quick things, I think for Vanessa for doing a great job with the announcements with the city and highlighting hometown heroes. We do need them applications in by April 10th, so please get those get those applications in. Also, the Good Friday Walk is April 7th, and we are still looking for characters. We have some additions to our current characters list, but we could actually use some more. So if you are interested on being a character for the Good Friday Walk, please see me and let me know. And then just a couple of shout-outs. Kim Glenn, she's a founder of Good Measure, a nonprofit here in Romulus, who had a free financial literacy workshop this past Saturday. Great job, nice turnout. And then our new DDA Director, Economic Development Liaison, Jerry Freyer, was on site helping, taking pictures, promoting the event. Thank you to Jerry Freyer for being there supporting. And then just a shout out to the St. John's Lodge for their bowling tournament. I got there late on Sunday, but I hear it was a great turnout, so thank them for coming to Romulus Bowling Alley to do their events for the last, I think, couple of years now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Talley. Any other
Yes.
communication? Ms. Williams?
Yes. I requested some information and every last council member received it. So my concern was, I remember back with previous administrations, we've never had the city attorney at every meeting. And so, I asked the question, what is the dollar amount that we pay for the city attorney to be at the council meeting? So it looks like the finance director gave all council members the $150. So I'm asking the mayor, what is in the contract with the city attorney to attend every single meeting?
I'd have to review the contract to see what specific language is in there, but that also provides an efficiency for the city council. There might be a lot of questions that come up here from the public, or from a petitioner, or from a city council member that may require a legal opinion, and if we don't have a legal advisor here on staff to answer that question, we'd delay the answer for a week, or have to go back to legal counsel. So it is a step we take to expedite and make the meetings more efficient and a better service to our city council members.
My concern is what's in the contract. What did council agree? When we hired them, when each time the contract starts, because most of the time, I ask a question and I have to wait a day or two or a week to get a response. So I'm just saying, I noticed that in no other administration have we had the city council, the city attorney at every meeting. And it's all about saving money. So if I can remember, it seems like it used to be once a month. I'm not for sure, but I would really like to see have that contract pulled up and see what did we agree with. Because I understand what you're saying in case a resident or the council had a question, but at the same time, if we didn't agree to that in the contract, then that's a problem. So So,
I can double check that language in the contract for sure. Well, we don't exceed the amount of budgeted and approved for the attorney services, so that's all been approved already. But I could check
right, I
on specific
understand.
language.
I just
in
want to
that.
see what did we approve, because that was last year, and we're heading toward another fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to just make sure that we're not spending more than we actually agreed to spend.
Absolutely, and we don't do that. And I've been working for the city for over 23 years, and every administration here has always had an attorney up here to provide that additional service to the residents, to a petitioner, and also to city council. So more than that, I've seen the city attorneys being at city council meetings to make sure correct information is given to you in a timely manner. So
Yeah.
if that's not exceeding any boundaries of a contract, I'm going to continue to provide that service to you, so.
I'd just like to see the contract. And
Okay.
then, letting the residents know, Forgotten Harvest is there, starting at 10 to, we normally finish about 12:30, 1 o'clock. All are welcome. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Any other communications?
All right, takes us to number 13, adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.